So what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel once again. You know I appreciate having you here. Stick around for today's video. I've got this. Yes, it's not a Mirage. I finally got my hands on a CRF300 Rally. It's taken me ages to get one of these, simply because they sell out quicker than they get them in. It's been immense, this bike, sales wise. I think people have been waiting months for these, but finally Dobles have got one in as a demonstrator, so I've stolen it off them, straight off the bench. It's done 1 mile and it's mine. New tyres, new bike, and it's all mine. Right, so stick around for this one. You might enjoy it, you might not, who cares? Not me, because I'm on a bike, I'm out. Okay, it's raining, we can't control everything, and I can't control your opinion, but this is just my opinion on the CRF300 Rally. So stick around, as I said, you might enjoy it. You never know, you might come round to my way of thinking. Unlikely. Roll that bloody intro. Welcome back, thanks for sticking around. Yes, I'm out on this, the beautiful Honda CRF300 Rally, and I've been looking forward to this. You can tell in my voice then, I got a little bit excited. I've been looking forward to riding this ever since it was announced and came out, and I'll tell you why in a minute, especially if you're new to the channel. If you're old to the channel, you will know why. But let's get the formalities out of the way first. And that is, thank you very much to Dobles Motorcycles down in Causden for giving me this bike. It's rare that this bike comes in, let alone on a demo, so thank you very much. A massive thanks to Ian down there, the general manager. If you don't know who Dobles are, I shall leave a link to their website downstairs in the descriptions box. Click on that and you can get all the information about their wares. And also down there I shall leave the full specification from Honda to this bike. Right, now about myself, a little bit about myself. Again, if you're new to the channel, you won't know this, but if you're old to the channel, you will know this. 6'2", wide in the shoulders, long in the legs, now weighing 17.5 stone. Just to give you an idea of where I'm coming from when it comes to ergonomics and how I get on a bike, that sort of thing. So that's kind of the boring bits out the way. Let's get on with the first impression. As I said, this is straight off the bench. Straight off the bench, keys in the hand, keys in ignition, and off on the road. So let's kick off with the ergonomics, and they're pretty good. As I said, 6'2", and I've got quite long legs, very long thigh bones for my height. Well, not very long, I'm not kind of, yeah, I am a little bit weird, I will admit it. I've got to say it, it's out there, we know that now. Let's leave it there. Oh, new tyres, new tyres. I'll come on to the tyres in a minute because I had these on mine. Oh yeah, right, let's get into that before I actually get on with the ergonomics. The reason I was so excited about this bike, if you're new to the channel, is I own a 250 Rally that I use for green laning. I've kind of modified mine with a few bits, so I'll drop a little bit about mine in now and then come back to you after that. So that's mine, so there may be a few little comparisons in this video to boot. A little bit extra, a bonus. You got a little bit of a bonus. Oh, it's a horrible bloody day, horrible day. But I'll tell you what, it's the sort of day that's perfect for this sort of bike. You don't want to take out your clean sports bike with spinny back wheels and immense power. This is the kind of bike you want on a day like this. Right, ergonomics, where were we? We're going on with the ergonomics. The seat to bars to peg ratio, gotta say, pretty good. I am used to it though. It's near enough identical to my 250 Rally. I've got different bars on mine, so mine are slightly wider, slightly higher up, plus I put bar risers on mine. so it's more suited to me. As I said, tall, so I like my bars up here, especially when you're off-roading. I like my bars quite tall for when you're standing up, but it's not bad. It's quite comfortable. A lot of shuffle room in the seat because it's a flat kind of bench seat, so that's nice. You can go backwards and forwards, and the pegs are nice, keep you at this kind of not quite 90-degree angle, but comfortable nevertheless. The seat is a little bit hard. Mine was on my 250. It has bedded in a little bit, but it's not really that comfortable for long journeys, and I expect this to be the same, so you might need to do a little bit of tweaking with the seat. They're okay in the winter because in the winter you wear more padded clothing, so bear that in mind when you're testing the bike. If you're testing it in winter and you've got a padded pair of trousers on, the seat always feels a little bit more comfortable than it actually is. If you're planning on just riding the summer, then go and test it in the clothes you wear in the summer, if that makes sense. Is that a little bit of sensible information on this channel? Jeez, I'm going to curb that. Screen up the front is exactly the same as mine. Looks like Darth Vader's head. You get used to that as well. I forgot how much it looks like Darth Vader's head, to be honest. I mean, mine's got stickers all over it, so it kind of disguises it, but looking at it here, I can't get that image out of my head now. The clocks have changed for this model. They're kind of just a little bit more square and just a little bit more information, like a gear indicator. Can't think of anything much more that they've got on there that the old one didn't have. Gear indicator is a good thing. As you know, I like a gear indicator and I'm a big fan of them. I've always said if you come from a bike with a gear indicator, you kind of miss them. If you've never had one, you're never going to miss it, but it's kind of handy to know, just a little bit of extra information. You can never have too much information. Unless your parents are describing their sex life, then yes, 100% that is far too much information. I shall go through the dash quickly when we do the walk around. I don't think it's going to take long because there's not much to it. Tank wise, it's a little bit bigger. I think it's 3 litres bigger, 2 litres bigger. I should have done my research, shouldn't I? I'll tell you what, commuting, just sitting in traffic, poodling along, it's really, really well balanced. It does feel smoother than my 250 because my 250 has been slightly abused, let's say. But as a road bike, it feels really nice. I'll get back into that in a minute. I was just a little bit shocked then, sitting in traffic, of how smooth it is. I swear mine's more jerky at low speeds. Could be me and my skills, I don't know. But it is me on both bikes, so that doesn't really make sense either, does it? Story of this channel. Let's go over here, thank you very much. Yeah, so fuel wise it should hold a bit more. Mine, I was probably getting around 140 before I filled it up, 140 miles before I started putting fuel in the tank. I mean, it may have gone a little bit more, but that's kind of when the light flashes. Well, it definitely go a bit more, but that's when the light flashes, so I tend to fill up as soon as the last bar appears or the light flashes. So this should do many, many more miles. It's Christmas week, isn't it? Wrong time to come out. People are coming out for their last minute Christmas presents and none of them are for me. Bit of non-planned filtering. So yeah, I probably picked the wrong route today, but at least we get to know what it's like filtering. And I've got to say, very easy indeed. It's nice and high, so you can look over the cars, you can see what's coming. Very light, very manoeuvrable. Ignore that manoeuvre. Just wanted to get in front of the vans. And weirdly enough, it was so you guys don't have to look at 2 vans. See, things I do for you. I mean, I could fit through there, to be honest, but we've done our filtering for today. It's time to chill. Right, mirrors are pretty good. I can see quite a lot behind me. It's only this bit where I can see my arms. All that bit there, this section here, I can see behind me quite well. So very good, very impressed with those. If you are going to take this off-road, they'll break. Trust me, I've done it. But for road riding, they're absolutely perfect. I feel right at home on this, and I've got to say it feels a lot smoother than my 250 did, or does now anyway. I rode it about 2 days ago, 3 days ago. It was off-road. I've done a lot of work to mine, as I said. I've got off-road tyres on it, different suspension at the back, handlebars, changed the sprockets, that sort of thing. So it does feel different to this, but this in this setup on the road feels absolutely fantastic. Gotta say, I think the suspension is better than my 250 was out of the box. It's still a little bit soft, I can feel that, but it's nowhere near as soft as my 250 was. My 250, when I sat on it originally, it basically wheelied. That's what it looked like. It looked like the suspension was broken with me on it. But this, it doesn't feel as pogo-y, as bouncy as the old one. It feels really nice. And everything just feels a little bit more tight. Whether that's because it's a new bike, I don't know. The throttle response is nice. It's obviously got a bit more poke than mine. As I said, I've changed the sprockets on mine, so mine's got a little bit off the mark. Probably similar to this, whereas this has got it off the mark and now it's got a little bit higher in the rev range as well. So it's a nicer feeling all the way through the rev range. That little hike in CC has made such a difference. And this engine's an absolute beaut. Okay, it's not going to set your world alight with performance figures or pull your arms out your sockets, but that's not what this is about. This is about kind of an everything, do-it-all, adventure, road, commute, green lane bike. A little bit of a Swiss Army bike. Does everything really, really well, but it's not as good as a full-on knife or a full-on screwdriver, if that makes sense. I've forgotten how smooth these bikes are with road tyres on. Although these look like they're off-road tyres, or they look 50-50, they are road tyres. They're okay in the wet, because they're the same tyres I think I had on my 250 originally. So if they are, again, we'll have a little look on the walk round. But if they are, I would suggest getting a new set of tyres if you do plan to go off-road. Because although they're okay in the wet, they're very good in the dry. In the wet, they're okay. They're not the greatest, but don't go mad in the wet and they're fine. But off-road, I found these tyres not to be that good. The throttle response is nice. Feels a lot tighter than mine. That little bit of extra power is really, really showing. The clutch is, wow, it's phenomenally light. That's not easy to say. So you've got a big word there. You can use one finger, it's that light. It's amazing. Which makes it nice and easy round town. It means you're not going to get wrist ache, hand ache if you do use this as a commuter. All in all, although it feels very familiar, it does feel better than my 250. This isn't going to be a long review, so sorry about that, and it's not going to be an off-road review. I'm not taking it off-road. One, because of the tyres, and two, because it's a demo bike from Doble's, and I feel bad taking it off-road. As much as I'd love to, I don't think it will be fair for the next owner, even though they may take it off-road. In the past I have taken these adventure bikes and off-road bikes off-road, but I know they've been waiting so long to get a demo of this that I'm going to be nice and not take it off-road. If you want to know what it's like off-road, I can tell you what it's like with the suspension change, with the tyres changed and everything on my bike, and I can tell you it will be absolutely fantastic. Now, it's not going to set your world alight like a full-on enduro, but as a green lane bike for the UK, just plodding around, having a little bit of leisurely fun, it's very, very good. I know that because I own a 250. This engine's better, so therefore it has to be better, surely. And like mine, where I find this type of bike better than a full-on enduro where you're doing hours rather than miles, is this has got normal service intervals and it's a very easy engine to work on. So it's very good to use just as a normal bike commuter and then just go green laning at the weekend. The aim I've got with my 250 is I'm going to get another set of wheels, so I'm going to use it as a road bike and an off-road bike and just keep swapping the wheels. That's the plan for it. And the beauty is, because it's got normal service intervals, as I said, it just takes it all in its stride. It takes the abuse. My 250 has been upside down quite a few times. I think about 6 or 7 times. I've broken my wrist on mine. Okay, that's not the bike's fault. I'm not trying to say you're going to break your wrists on this bike. I'm just saying that's how I ride mine, and that's kind of the abuse it gets. And it has never ever let me down. Never. I've bent the forks, I've bent the bars, but has it ever stopped running? No. I service mine myself. It's easy. Just drop the oil, filter, just basically stuff you can get on eBay. It's really easy to look after yourself. I mean, if you are going to use it on the road and you're not used to doing services yourself or stuff like that, then it's no problem. The dealer would do it and it's not going to be expensive. Being a 250, it's not going to cost you the earth. It is a horrible day out today and it's chilly, but it's all good because I've got my Keys heated gloves on. So thank you very much to Keys for sending me these. Game changer, absolute game changer. And if you pair these with heated grips, oh my god, it's toasty heaven. They're brilliant. I'm running them on the battery pack at the moment, but on my Super Cub on the way down to pick this up, I ran them off the 12-volt charger. They're not warm to the extent that you think your hands are going to fall off and melt, but they take the edge off. They make riding pleasant on cold days. Today's about 3 degrees, I think it is, and they really do take the edge off. Anyway, back to this. I've got to say, I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. It all feels familiar, but a little bit crisper and a little bit better and a lot cleaner. These type of bikes I like to keep dirty. I hate my bike when it's clean. It just looks odd. If you do get one of these, please try and just at least do a little bit of green laning, even simple stuff. It will change your world. It really will. It's just really nice, especially around here, getting out in the Surrey hills. There are some nice easy tracks you can even do with these tyres. But as I said, today we're going to keep it clean. Well, as clean as the road allows. I put 50-60 mile an hour, it's a little bit vibey, but mine is as well. You kind of expect that. It is a single cylinder, so it's just something you'll have to get used to. It's not bad. I mean, it doesn't make your nether regions go numb. It's not like a sexual pleasure. Not that your nether regions going numb is classed as a sexual pleasure, of course. Don't know why I married those two together, but I did. But yeah, if you want ultra smooth, then you go out and buy a 4-cylinder bike, don't you? Or 3-cylinder. Everything else has got a little bit of character. Right, we're going to pull in here and have a little bit of a walk round. I haven't been to Rikers for ages. Seems like a long time, so let's go and have a bit of a walk round. Right, so here we are back in Box Hill car park. We haven't been here for a while, and today we've got this, the new CRF300 Rally. She's a good looking bike, I've got to say. I really like the look of this, but as you know, I'm just a little bit biased. I really am. I love my 250, and this has just brought it up a notch. It really is nice. Even with its one eye on, it's very, very nice. I mean, looks are subjective. Some people think this is a pig ugly, but not me. I like that kind of Dakar-esque rally type kind of look. It's up my street. So let's have a little bit of a look round. We'll start at the front and then work our way back. Let me just turn off the dash. We'll go through that in a minute, but I don't want the battery to run flat. So it's a 21 inch, so it's an 80-121 on the front there. Running tubes in there. You've got a single disc on this side. All the specifications for this, by the way, will be downstairs in the descriptions box, so if you want to know anything specific, go and check that out. So you've got that on the front, and that's running the forks here with the radial caliper on the back there, which is a Nissan, I believe. Let's have a little bit of a look. There you go, Nissan caliper on the front, single disc. Nice high mudguard there. We've got non-adjustable forks on the front, but they do go all the way down to the centre of the wheels. Full of technical info. and there you go, that's the inside of the fork legs there. Very, very nice. And then onto this bit here, which is the engine. I'm not sure what they've done to it to make it 300. Obviously they've bored it out and made it bigger, goes without saying. This is not a technical channel, you see, so it's no longer a 250, but that difference has made a massive improvement. I wish this was in my 250. It's not, but I wish it was. It's a much nicer engine. On this side, foot pegs and brakes. This is nice and squishy. When you stand up, you can push through this and get a little bit of grip with the serrated edges here. If you want to take this bit off, and you just unscrew that and take it off. Brake pedal there is just a normal one. It's quite easy to bend off-road. I have bent mine a few times, but the good thing is it bends back nice and easy. On the rear, we've got an 18-inch rim, which is 120/80/18. Small brake disc on the back with a single pot caliper. You'll use that probably more off-road than you will on-road. It is ABS front and rear, and you can switch the rear off via a button on the handlebars or on the main console at the top there. We'll go through that in a minute. These tyres, as I said, okay for the road. Would I use them off-road? Not after having them on my 250, so bear that in mind. In the dry they're fine when it's dusty, but when it's muddy and slippery they're not that great. On the back here you've got a little helmet lock there, and these bungee tie down points on the back. You've got them either side, and they're quite handy to tie the stuff on. These ones here, little Allen keys, you take that off and then you can get the seat off via there. Right, on the side we've got a little box with a key, so let's see what's in there. Right, so you've got a little toolkit in there, some storage. Not as much as that was on the 250, so a little bit strange that, why that's gone smaller. Anyway, I took mine off, so it doesn't really matter, does it? Over this side, another foot peg and the gear shifts, nice and slick, nice and easy to get in gear. This is a 6-speed box on this one. There's not really a lot we can talk about. You've seen plenty of CRFs on my channel, mainly my 250. So if you think of my 250, and this one's just a slightly higher level of everything on it slightly better for the road. Not for off-road, for the road. You still have to change your tyres and stuff like that for off-road. And if you are a heavy lump like me, you still have to change the suspension. I'll show you suspension on the back here. That's in there. And that spring is still a little bit soft. Not as soft as the one on my 250, but still a little bit soft. And the front is not too bad. When you grab a handful, obviously on a day like this I don't want to grab a handful, but it does dive a little bit, but again not as bad as my 250. Let's go through the lights. So on the front you've got full LEDs, that's normal and high beam, and you've got LED running lights come indicators. They stay on, but when you need to use them they flash. Right, on the back, LED indicators, and I think that in there is a bulb. Looks like a bulb. Once again, I should put the full specs downstairs in the descriptions box. Right, let's go through the dash. Right, left hand side, you've got clutch. You've got this wind deflector here. Won't do much in a fall, won't protect anything here. It's kind of just for wind and for looks. You've got your full beams and your normal. There is no flasher, no push to pass. You've got your horn, hooter, and you've got your indicators down here. On this side, let me swap hands. You've got your throttle, you've got your brake, again one of these wind deflectors, you've got your kill switch, hazard lights and starter there. That's it. Clocks and dash, let's go through that. That's your startup sequence. So you've got, let's go indicators, so you've got indicator, then you've got something else there, you've got full beam light there, you've got engine management, I think that's a shift light, I'm not sure, neutral, ABS that will go off at 5 miles an hour, engine temperature and your right indicator. On the screen here you've got, that's your fuel, that's your clock, rev counter around the outside, speed, your little computer type thing down here with your information on, that's your miles, we've done 16 miles so far, and a gear indicator. Right, over this side are your little buttons, so let's see what that changes. Right, so the one at the bottom here changes this down here. We just scroll through there, average, and then average again. One will be on the go and one will be overall, and that's how many gallons we've used, and that's average miles per hour, I believe. This button at the top goes from your miles, if you use this button at the top, changes your miles, goes trip, and then trip again, and then the weird timer they do on Hondas. I don't know why they do timers on Hondas, but they do. And then back to your miles. That's about it for the dashboard, apart from this little button here. If you hold that down, that comes up there and it tells you that the ABS is off on the rear wheel, and to put it back on, you just hold it down again. You cannot do that on the move, you have to be stationary to do that. So there you go, that's the dashboard, and that is the walk round of the CRF300 Rally. So there you go, that's the walk round done. We're just going to ride back to the shop now. We've got a little bit of fuel left, so we're going to head back. We're going to head back via the country lanes. A little bit slippery, horrible day, but we're still going to have a little bit of fun. And when I say lanes, I don't mean green ones. We're not going off-road. I think I've told you this before, we are not going off-road. We're being courteous today. And then I'll give you my conclusion and let you know, would I buy one or would I not buy one? We always do that at the end, so why break a habit of a lifetime? Do you know what, even though it's a horrible day, it's still nice to be out on a bike, I've got to say. It really is. And again, we're not going to cane it because it's a new bike, new engine. And these are quite rare at the moment, so we will just have a little bit of a cruise down these country lanes, see what she's like on these bumpy roads. I'll tell you what we will do, is we'll stand up, see what she's like standing up. The bars are definitely too far back and too much underneath me for off-roading, and too low as well, far too low. As I said, mine have got bar risers on and they're much further forward. I have mine tilted quite far forward with the levers down, so when I'm standing up it's much more comfortable. But for the road, sitting down in this position, it's lovely. It really is nice. I'm getting used to this seat now. It was a bit hard in the beginning, but now I'm kind of numbing into it. Definitely got more pull on the lower end of the rev range. You don't have to rev it so high. As I said before, I'm not sure of the figures, but it definitely got more torque and it feels a little bit lower down. I might be wrong, but it just feels a lot more where it should be than mine. As I said, I had to change the sprocket on mine, but I wouldn't bother on this. I'll tell a lie, I might do, because I like this power, but just to give it a little bit more shove. But you don't have to. I'm just saying, it's my preference. I'm not sure, that's what I'm saying. I'm confused, as usual, I'm confused. But it's handling these little back lanes, greasy, slippery, really, really well. The suspension, as I said, although soft, works really well in these conditions. It soaks up all the bumps nicely. So although the seat's quite hard, the suspension's working well to soften it all up. I don't know if you can see that, all this green, where this whole road is basically moss. So it's like riding on ice. Well, it's not like riding on ice, because if I was on ice, let's face it, I'd have been upside down about halfway down that road. Right, so let's get on with the conclusion of this. Let's start with the ergonomics. Ergonomics are fantastic for me. I really like them. I'm used to it, so I'm suited to this type of bike. But being tall and being big, it's nice and spacious. With the seat I can shuffle back if I want to, and I can shuffle right into the tank if I need to. So all in all, the hands to bars to pegs ratio, very, very good. The mirrors, again, very, very good. You can see more behind you than you can of your own elbows, which is always a bonus. The frontal area here, I really like it. I like it on mine. I like the fact that the clocks are so high up, they're kind of on the dash rather than on the handlebars. I really like that. It's nicely in your view here, everything's just there, and I really like that. That's one of the things I liked about my 250, was everything's just in your eye line naturally. And it's nice that it's got this little bar here, so if you want to put your phone on there or a GPS system, you can just attach it to there and everything's there, rally style, and I like that. Controls wise, everything's nice and easy to use. The brakes feel a little bit wooden at the moment because it's a new bike. They will bed in. Mine felt a little bit wooden on my 250. I think this has got a bigger rotor on the front. I'm not 100% sure. but it does feel, when you grab a handful, there's a little bit more there than I had on my 250 when I first got it. But my brakes bedded in. I think I'm on my 4th set of brake pads now. Just to let you know, if you do go off-road, especially around here because it's very sandy, it will annihilate your brake pads. I think I'm on my 4th set in 3 years, and I've only done about 4,000 miles, so just to let you know. But keep an eye on your brake pads if you go off-road, especially if you use normal ones. I was using normal ones for a while, and now I'm using the off-road ones, which are better. Anyway, I got sidetracked then, but I just thought I'd give you that tip. Clutch, very, very light. As I said on the way up here, 1 finger, 2 finger, no problem at all. It's probably one of the lightest clutches I've felt, and it's only cable operated, so I was impressed by that. It's a bit like me on a night out, there's hardly any pull to it. Suspension, better than it was, still not great. It's good for the road, for just commuting, mucking around dodgy roads. It soaks up potholes, bumps, speed bumps, that sort of thing. I'm a little bit too heavy for it, so I do compress the back slightly more than it should be, but it's a lot better than my 250. I could suffer this suspension, no problem, especially for the road. I might change it off-road, but for on-road stuff, it's not a problem at all. It's really nice and smooth. Not too much dive on the front, and not too much pogo in on the back. Bearing in mind, I'm comparing this to my 250 when I got it. I'm not comparing it to a sports bike. So if you come from a sports bike to this, it will still feel like a blancmange. Right, let's get on to it. The engine, has it made any difference? Yes, it has. It's not huge, but it's enough to feel huge, if that makes any sense. It's got a nice rev range to it. It's got a nice bit of torque now. It sits at any speed you want within legal limits quite happily. It does get vibey right up the high end of the rev range, but that's not a deal breaker. You've got to expect that on a single cylinder bike. But all in all, this hike to 300 from 250 was a great move. This is a fantastic bike, absolutely fantastic, but I am biased. As you might have noticed by now, I am biased. So let's get on to it before we end the video. We're stuck behind traffic anyway, so we might as well conclude this video and let you know, would I buy it or would I not? It's a yes and a no. Yes, I'd buy it if I didn't have the 250. If I didn't have the 250, I'd buy this in a heartbeat. I absolutely love it. I love the 250 and I love this, and this is that much better than the 250 straight out the box. The reason I wouldn't buy it is, again, I've got the 250, so I wouldn't swap my 250 for this. The amount of work I put into that 250, I wouldn't. The hike is great, but it's not enough for me to spend more money on this bike, and then I'd have to start again with the suspension, the wheels and everything, because I would take this off-road. So I've got my off-road 250. I wouldn't sell it to buy this, but if I didn't have the 250, I'd get this in a heartbeat. I hope that's as clear as mud. And we've been averaging 91 miles to the gallon, which is not bad. Right, so let's wrap this one up. Once again, thank you very much to Dobles down in Causden. Special shout going out to Ian, the general manager. We still can't hug yet, but you can kind of air high-five him from a distance. So if you are down there, just go and say hello to him. He's a nice guy, and he'll do you some fantastic deals, trust me. So I shall leave a link to their website downstairs in the descriptions box, and also a link to the full specs for this bike down there as well. And I'd also like to thank Keith as well while I'm here for these gloves. They are fantastic. They're 3-stage heated. I've got them running off a battery pack at the moment, and I've taken the edge off today. As I said, it's about 3-4 degrees, and my hands are super toasty, and I'm sure this is on level 1, because this is green, then it goes yellow, and then red. So I'd assume red is the hottest. In my mind, it should be the hottest. I haven't really looked, but even on this green, they have taken the edge off, and it's really nice to ride. So thank you to those guys as well. So that just leaves me to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, to do all those things that you need to do. Also, hit that notification bell so you guys can get the drop on these videos. That just leaves me to say once again, thank you very much for joining me on this one. You know I love you all. Stay safe. Fish out.
Get all your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong. So go ahead, get going. Get all your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong. So go ahead and get going.